How's it going, everybody? So we're here for Speak On It for Mental Health with Jeffrey Allen, and he is an experienced lyricist, writer, and of course has much of his work has been showcased online over the course of this pandemic. So we're going to let Jeffrey lead with telling us a little bit more about himself. Take it away.
Jeff Allen, Jeffrey RD. You can call me whatever you want. From Chatham, Ontario. I'm a rock singer. I'm a writer. I'm a musical theater performer, screen actor. Really, like you said, this pandemic has really allowed me the opportunity to focus on not only the crafts that I've already been kind of honing throughout my life, but this hip hop. Loved it my whole life, and I've never really given it a go. So this pandemic really gave me that opportunity, and been putting my stuff online, and just been kind of moving from there.
That's amazing. And I've said this multiple times, a lot of people are improving over the course of this pandemic. Love to see that. And of course, a lot of people are experiencing a little bit of trouble, with regards to keeping themselves healthy, mentally, emotionally, physically, being cooped up inside all the time. So it's nice to see those that are taking this time to actually do something positive and productive. And then, of course, influencing other people in the process. So I wanted to ask you as well, what kind of circumstances have you encountered with regards to your mental health? So how has music helped you along the way, and what kind of struggles were you dealing with during that process?
Oh man, it's been a little bit of a double-edged sword for me, to be blunt. Everybody has their own mental health struggles. I've dealt with some stuff that I've needed medication for in the past, some panic disorder, some agoraphobia stuff. So given that, you'd think that the pandemic would almost be a dream for a guy like me, right? With agoraphobia, not wanting to leave the house, like that's where that's really rooted in sometimes. Not having that social aspect of my life that I was really the last year prior to 2020, I was really getting back out into the music scene, playing live shows. I got the banner behind me there, the Fighting Grace, a band that hired me as a vocalist, and, actually making money doing the thing that I love, which is rare, man. And so 2020 was supposed to be that year where, the festival scene came. I passed all those roadblocks in my head. I'm finally able to be in crowds at concerts. When the pandemic happened, all shows canceled. I lost probably about 14 grand, give or take, in both live show fees from shows we already had booked, and then shows that were in the process of being booked, and then everything got canceled.
You've gone through a series of different areas where you can promote your music. You've gone through a series of different areas where you can grow in your music, especially with the online stuff. And I gotta say, having a guy like you in their corner like that has those different diverse genres and styles that you work with, because I've met a lot of guys that are like you, that are multi-genre. Most people get kind of stuck in that one genre and don't really grow beyond that scope. So I'd have to say it's amazing to see it. And which leads me into my final question. If you had known that this pandemic was going to occur, right? We've been talking about music, and you said, you'd mentioned that it had been a bit of a struggle because you were hoping for some actual events and promotion. If you knew that the pandemic was going to hit, what would you do differently?
Oh man, I wouldn't have went back to college in 2009. That I would have honestly just focused on the craft. I would have, again, having that foresight to be able to see that no live events are happening. I would have planned out some type of streaming platform or process, got maybe a podcast together, trying to help local musicians. Things that I've thought about doing in the past, but then when the pandemic happened, right, everybody just kind of got kicked in the rear, and a lot of people started doing those things. If I had the foresight, I would have started things like that earlier, some initiatives to try to promote local music and local musicians that have no way of making money right now. But having said that, hindsight's 2020, right? Now I'm happy that there's platforms like UBZ, and discovering more and more like that all over the place, be it in hip hop or across all genres. I could list them all and ramble, but it's refreshing to see that all of these little communities are building up, and they seem to be rooted in positivity, which is really helping the mental health aspect of someone like me, not being in the hip hop game actively, just being a fan, being able to come out and go, hey, here's some bars, tell me if they're whack or not. That takes a lot of, if that was in person, I might not have had the balls to go and do that in front of people and be like, hey, is this good or not? That online platform now I would feel no problem problem with it because I'm a little more confident in the craft. I would have focused on creating more online opportunities for local musicians to make money if I would have known the pandemic was going to happen.
I think people are seeing now the growth in the online space, whereas before it was there, it was always available, but it was never this interactive. Ever since COVID-19 has hit, now the interactive portion of the online space has become so much more evolved for people like you or people like me who otherwise wouldn't have had that opportunity unless we were going through this. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey Allen, I'm sure you're going to see more of him. We've seen him in the Universal Battle Zone. We've seen some of his work, and we're very happy to have you aboard. Thank you for taking your time to interview with us. This is Speak On It for Mental Health, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
No problem.